Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
I'm John.
And this is Owen.
And what's our show about today, guys?
It's about Iceland
And sustainability.
Sustainability as always, yeah.
We're super excited, so let's introduce our beautiful guest, straight from Iceland, Kristín Olafsdottir.
There we go.
You got it.
Did I say
That's
it
the
correctly?
name.
Yes,
Almost.
you did.
Can you say it again so people...
Kristín Olafsdottir, or Olafsdottir.
And your accent is Icelandic?
Yes, it is.
Wow. And is that close to Swedish? Because it sounds a little bit like when my...
Icelandic,
Sister
Norwegian,
tongue.
Swedish, Danish, all related.
So if you're in any of those countries, can people understand each other? Pretty much?
Sometimes, some do, some don't.
Okay.
It's easier to read, so the written language is much closer than the spoken language.
Okay, so tell us about Iceland. We want to know everything about it and why you guys are so high up there for sustainability and why you are so green.
Well, first let her introduce herself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's hear more about her. Yeah.
Okay,
Let's hear
good. He's
more
being
about
like
her.
Chet. And Chet's not here because Chet is
Out of town.
out of
at
town.
ADC.
Yeah.
Well,
and-
he's done with that, but he is out of town still. So yes.
And I'm so glad he's been gone because I have a surprise for him. I've been cleaning his room. Anyway, that's a long story.
All right, so tell us about yourself. Yeah.
So I am an ASU graduate, and I have an undergraduate in tourism management. I have an MBA, and I have a master in sustainability.
That's
A
right.
master in sustainability. Like she's my hero. It's such a big deal to meet you and know that you live in Iceland, you're major sustainability. It's just huge. I mean, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
Very cool. Yeah. So then, can you expand on how you grew up in Iceland and like how you ended up here and how you
Great
ended
question.
up at ASU? And,
So I grew up in a tiny town, Akureyri, in the northern part of Iceland.
Can you repeat that? What's the town called?
Akureyri.
Akureyri.
I spent the summers at my grandparents' farm, and just grew up with a lot of what I didn't realize was sustainability, because my grandmother would, she would pick the berries that are in the land. We would have everything, the lambs that we slaughter them to eat, and you eat everything. You eat the lungs and the kidneys and the liver and the sheep's heads and everything.
So you put it into a soup, or how would you eat it?
My mom makes really good kidney pies.
Oh, wow.
And the heart you usually fry. The head you usually boil.
Mhm.
And so different ways.
That's
I
very
love
cool.
it. So basically, you learn to not waste,
Exactly.
and that's number one
Everything has
way
a
to be
Everything has a
sustainable.
purpose, exactly.
I love that.
That's
And
very
my grandmother would always wash plastic bags. She would never throw anything away that wasn't absolutely no usable. And cans, she would use the cans to put plants in afterwards.
It sounds like something I know.
Yeah, exactly. My mother's
I'm very sustainable,
the same way.
but I would say more extreme. We're going to give her some credit. Is my sister, his mom, Owen's mom, because she doesn't throw anything away. Was your grandma kind of a hoarder?
No,
Okay.
not at
No.
all.
So
She would just utilize everything that we had.
I love it.
So she wouldn't go out and get new stuff or just hang out with all her trash and stuff. She would actually, anything that can be reused, they found a purpose for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
repurposed a lot of household things that
And actually, it's quite sustainable. I was trimming some rose bushes, and my sister took the rose bushes and she wanted to propagate them and create new rose bushes. And I didn't, she's very hardworking when it comes to trying to be extremely sustainable, right?
There's always
She really
a
is.
plant growing in our house. Like she'll take seeds from like an avocado or from these different fruits and vegetables, and she'll try to regrow the seeds.
And it works.
Yeah,
It
it does
works.
work. And she has a little garden in the back, so yeah, it's very
That she's
sustainable and
she doesn't buy any
nice.
seeds. It's incredible. So that's what your grandparents did. That's incredible.
And my dad is an electrician, and
Okay.
he would use the runoff from the hot water to he put some pipes down outside so we never had to shovel the front yard. So he would just literally, the leftover water would just run through there.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Okay, describe it again.
So, yeah, basically, go ahead, explain it. Yeah.
So the water that the
You mean rainwater?
no geothermal
Okay.
water. So
Okay.
we have
Oh.
geothermal water that heats our houses.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so instead of ovens and stuff like that, you just have hot water running through your house.
Okay.
And at the end of the cycle, he would use it for the front of the yard.
So he'd repurpose instead of wasting.
Exactly.
I love it.
And then he wouldn't have to, he wouldn't have to shovel the front yard if.
It's pretty much a heated front yard.
And also when you can take that water and you're watering edible plants, which it sounds like you guys had edible plants, right?
Yes.
You had fruits and vegetables,
Mhm.
and that's extremely sustainable.
Yes.
So this is long ago. I mean, you're so young, so not that long. I mean, for you it's long ago, but it's not that long ago.
That's very
How old
true.
are you? 21?
What kind of plants
Cheers.
did you guys grow?
Cheers, cheers, cheers. 21.
21.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Oh.
Woo, boom.
We would, my rhubarb is very popular.
That's a good question.
And we would grow our own potatoes, and strawberries grow wild, blueberries are wild.
Yeah.
A lot of greenhouses have tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, I mean mushrooms, roses, all kinds of things.
But is this all year round, or is it
Yeah.
only?
No, all year round, because we use the geothermal energy to
To
keep
keep it heated.
exactly.
Yeah.
But what is the climate in Iceland? I mean, I don't know
it's
why.
cold.
I
It's
feel like
cold,
it's
but-
going to be.
It's
So geothermal is like because you're located right on tectonic plates, there's a lot of like heat that dissipates from like basically that magma layer, and that heats the geothermal water, and they use that water from their environment
Mhm.
to basically heat all their houses. They can heat their greenhouses so that even though it is 20 degrees outside and snowy, they have this hot water that they are basically pumping up from the earth to heat all of these greenhouses so they can have fruits and vegetables all year round.
correct.
Yes.
But around it, you have snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Very sustainable.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
things like that in like even upstate New York, but we don't have geothermal heat, so it is using electricity that we get from, your typical electricity sources in America, which are power plants. Not very sustainable. So the fact that they are able to utilize their land and their uniqueness of
A natural
their country,
resource,
that's pretty much
Basically,
Incredible.
90% of heating and electricity cost comes from geothermal and hydropowered energy.
So can anybody, like, if I want to go there to buy a place, a little house there, can anybody buy a house there, or do you?
Yeah. If you have the money, they're
it's
terribly
not cheap.
expensive.
It's
Okay.
not cheap there.
So what is like, a nice place, but not a mansion or anything, but kind of a nice place.
Would probably be
I mean, nice area. It's smaller, so maybe something 2,000 square feet. What would that cost? Something nice in one of the best
That's
areas.
pretty large.
so houses are much smaller
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Bedrooms
you're
are much
thinking America.
smaller.
Sustainable.
Yeah.
That's sustainable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very sustainable.
200 million kroner would be probably what you would pay, which is divided by 140 approximately.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
1 million plus,
So about $1 million.
a little over $1 million. Yeah.
So basically, you have to be a millionaire to live in Iceland.
Or you need to be born there.
Exactly. Generation.
Well, so the cost of living, I did read, is high,
Very high.
so then there's probably not a lot of crime or homeless.
There is not
Oh.
not a lot.
I think she's saying this because she doesn't want anybody listening to move there. I know how.
There's crime anywhere.
Because
you
I know
go.
when we're talking about
Every
Arizona, I'm
single
like,
place in
it's
the
terrible
world.
here. Don't come here. Don't move here.
We don't have the anywhere close to the murder rate that is here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We may have one murder a year every 2 years or so.
Well, I did read that it's very hard to get a gun there. So that's an
Yes.
important topic that we could bring. Let's talk about it, because I did read that you have to be, they mentally assess you,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be at least 20 to buy a gun.
Mhm.
How old do you
You
have
have
to
to
be
be
here?
21 here.
Oh, it is 21? I thought it was
I believe
18.
you have
If
to
you
be
get a
21.
shotgun, though, you have to be 18.
Yeah, for hunting purposes,
Yeah.
you have to be 18 to have a handgun. You have to be, I believe, 21. Most states in America, it's very difficult to get. Or not
But
very,
people can get a
some
shotgun at
states.
18. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, to go hunting.
Oh,
Yeah.
but somebody can use that and hunt people.
Yeah, you can use many things in hunting.
Yeah. There's a lot of different
Yeah,
things that can
there's
be
a lot of
for
things.
that
Yeah,
purpose.
but the age isn't really the thing. The main thing is we love guns in America, and we have more guns per person than we have people in America. So it's that much easier for us to go get a gun, and people use them more here.
So in Iceland,
like-
it's pretty safe.
It's
Yes.
also the culture, so it's
Yes.
very difficult to change the culture of America.
Sure.
But yes, so Iceland is also a lot less people.
And the police doesn't have guns in
Yeah.
Iceland.
Yeah,
What?
that's incredible.
Really?
Only
That is-
their special
What?
forces have guns.
Why doesn't the police have it?
They don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, why do they need a police then?
Oh.
there's still things that go wrong, like
We still have speeders, and,
right,
and
yeah.
I mean there is domestic
violence, right? Yeah, and
And-
there's gonna be assaults and battery. You can get drunk and get into a fight and not have a gun and still break the law.
Yeah.
That's why I go out in the street and I punch someone in the face because they
So-
cut me off in traffic. That's not legal. You're gonna need police.
Yeah.
To deal with that.
Hmm.
So
Well, I find it interesting because if you have somebody with a violent tendency, which doesn't, just because it's Iceland doesn't mean they don't have that there.
No,
Because
it
I did read
happens.
that there
Yeah.
are some
Mhm.
violent crimes.
Iceland isn't like a perfect,
It's not
Elysium.
heaven.
It's
It
it's
is
it's
a wonderful
beautiful. It's
society,
gorgeous,
but every society has its flaws.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes,
So-
yes. Because per capita,
Yeah.
if you, relate it, it's probably
It's much lower than here, I would
much
think.
lower, yeah.
But
absolutely.
however, I mean, there's 380,000 people in Iceland,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like the whole country. Like there's more people in Mesa.
Yeah. I was actually saying that earlier.
Yeah, that
You
was-
said that
that was
earlier.
before we brought up
You did
earlier,
say
yeah.
that
Yeah.
earlier.
We have
That's
we have
incredible.
1,000 times more people in America than they have in Iceland.
Mhm.
So
And that is what makes going to Iceland so amazing,
Yeah.
because you can literally be the only person in a certain place.
Are there good-looking men there?
Yes.
there's
I'm on my
people
way.
everywhere. Come on, King.
When-
Come on.
when's your ticket?
And just listen to that accent. They all have that accent too.
No, I've met some people from Iceland like you, and everybody's very beautiful, blue eyes, blonde. Are the men all blonde too?
A lot of them.
Mm-hmm. But now your husband's from Sweden.
No, he's actually from Iceland. His father lives in
Oh.
Sweden.
Okay, so he is from.
So his father was married to a Swedish lady. And so
Ah.
my husband has 2 siblings in Sweden. Half siblings.
Oh, how nice. So how did you meet your husband?
We met at a concert, outdoor festival, when I was still in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so a music festival.
High school
Uh-huh.
That's really
Festival,
cool.
music festival. What kind of music?
So it was Labor Day weekend, and there's like a music festival that goes literally the whole weekend. So all kinds of bands. And everybody camps and tents and
Like EDC, where Rachel and Chet are. They're just on their way back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of like that.
Uh-huh.
so we just had fun, and I saw him and thought he was cute, but he was
Wait, but
dancing
were you
with
with
somebody.
friends?
I was with friends.
Mm-hmm. Had you had a drink?
Oh yeah,
How old
Come
were
on,
you?
You're a festival.
18.
Oh, so you were underage.
No, back then was it? Was
In
it back
Iceland,
then?
you can drink at 18.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
In America, you
Oh.
could drink at 18. Probably.
Okay, okay.
You know, even
So
what,
you
50
can
years
drink at
ago.
18. Okay.
Everybody was drinking at
Yeah.
So we have to go there to find Owen and John, wives, and me, husband. Okay, we're on our way. Okay.
Little trip. Little trip.
And then what's
Baldur.
Baldur?
Mm-hmm.
How do we spell that?
Baldur.
Okay. And you flirted with him because he was with somebody else.
He was with somebody else, so I wasn't.
Ooh.
See, don't let us
So
stop you.
You approached him or he approached you?
No. I saw him,
Mm-hmm.
but he was
Uh-huh.
dancing with somebody else, so I decided I'm not gonna go there.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
But you thought he was cute.
oh, of course I did.
And
And then he nipped on my shoulder and asked me to dance. So
Mm.
apparently it was just a friend that he was dancing.
Oh.
Uh-huh. So did you give him like the wink or something so he knew to come ask you to dance?
I don't remember. It's been
Uh-huh.
so long.
Okay.
But
She just was looking pretty. Probably made a little bit long of a gaze. He saw her staring over at him. He saw, and he was like, all right.
And then what happened?
So 3 weeks later, we moved in together.
Stop it.
That's a.
At 18, how old was he?
He was
This
20.
is the love show.
Right?
He was 20.
That is.
So 2 years apart, 18
like a
and
fairy
20.
tale.
It is a
Fairy
it is a
tale.
fairy
2
tale.
weeks later, we're still together.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And they're happy.
How many years has it been?
God.
Look at her, she's getting all giddy talking about it.
We've been married for 25 years. But
Wow.
Wow. Did
That's amazing.
you ever go to bed upset?
Everyone
mean,
does. Come on.
once in a while.
Did you ever sleep in a separate bed?
No.
Most happy couples say that.
Really cool.
Which means you don't have, neither one of you have an extreme temper. Because you can't sleep in the same bed with somebody if you
No.
have an
He
extreme
is.
temper.
He actually. I am the one with temper. He's a very calm.
Wait, so from that point where you guys met, how long until you guys got married?
Great question.
10 years.
10 years. Wow.
Wow.
You guys were dating that's amazing. Yeah.
So we lived together for 10 years. In Iceland, it's not very common for people to marry right away. I mean,
So it's like Sweden.
nobody gets married because somebody's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They get married because they love each other.
Yeah.
And I actually was
Mm.
reading this data, 67%, I think it was 67% of kids are born out of wedlock.
Oh wait, tell some of these facts. You can read it right after there. Yeah.
And so,
Yes. So question. So
Mhm.
this is, believe it or not, a crazy question, but a lot of people that I'm friends with, or in my church, think that you should not have sex before marriage. So does Iceland kind of not believe that either?
No.
That's a
Okay.
cultural thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Because even in America, you go from different place to different place. Everyone has different views on that.
But I told my kids when they were like, a certain age, I think about, I don't know what age, maybe 14, I said, I disagree with that. I think you should, if you love somebody, at a certain age and you're old enough. But how do you believe?
no, I totally think so. I mean,
Mhm.
I think people need to be comparable both in bed and out of bed before they get married. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
Yeah.
you gotta know the person pretty well. I feel like before you get.
And the
married.
reason
Yes.
why, the reason why this
And it
is,
doesn't. You don't learn in a year. You don't learn in a couple of years because people, they slowly begin to open up, and some people it takes longer for them to open up. Sometimes you meet someone, you know exactly who they are right then.
Mhm.
Other times you know them for a year, and then they kind of change a little bit, and then slowly they start to open up, and it might change for the better, it might change for the worse, or it might
True.
just change
Mm-hmm.
in general, and that's something you have to work through. But if you just jump the gun, like, oh, let's get married right now, you don't find out until later, and that's why so many marriages do fail.
Well, I agree, because I was married for almost 30 years, and it's kind of like, now I'm looking like, what? Nope. But I have 2 amazing kids, and I was very happy for a very long time.
Which is
So
important.
it is. It's the best. So I would do it all again. But I didn't know. But I didn't have any. It was my first rodeo.
Mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 That's why experience is really important in that
Yes.
type of situations. Yeah.
Yes. So, but I would do it all again. But I was with somebody recently, and these 2 relatives were asking me about, oh, maybe I should marry a Mormon because they marry as virgins, and I said no, that's a mistake.
So
And so you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, how did you go from living in Iceland to being in America and living in both countries?
Thank you for segueing it. You're pulling a jet. Thank you.
I wanted to go to college.
Mhm.
And so I came here to do my undergraduate. And
Okay.
so I came here to go to ASU.
But why did you pick ASU? Why did you pick Arizona?
So basically, there were 4 schools that I could find. There was these microfilms, literally, at the Fulbright Institute in Iceland that had information about universities in the US. And I found 4 that actually had a tourism management degree. And Rochester, New York was way too cold. It's colder than Iceland. And so was
Mhm.
Where I'm from.
so was Minnesota.
Mm.
Florida had a 2-year associate degree, and I wanted a bachelor's. And ASU had a bachelor's degree. I asked the person, and I was not kidding, is Arizona warm? because I knew nothing.
Yeah, you don't know.
And she started laughing and thought I was joking, and voila, I applied for ASU.
Perfect.
Because you
match.
wanted it warm. I love that.
My mom always told me I was born in the wrong country. I was always cold.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so was your mom part of this decision?
No, it was my decision to go.
Because I know you lost your parents quite young.
No, my parents are still living.
Oh.
Mm.
Is your
Caught in the
husband?
crossfire.
Is it- yeah.
Little
Is it your husband?
miscommunication.
Miscommunication
they're
there.
still living.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought somebody's. Okay, never mind.
No, it
Let's
was
take that out.
it was my decision. And I talked to Baldur about it, obviously, because
Mhm.
he needed to go too. And we were already dating at the time, and we picked Arizona because it was warm, and I was so excited when I got here first. I looked at the palm trees and palm walk, and I was like, oh my
Love at
god.
first sight, yeah.
It
It's
was.
like a paradise. That's what I saw when I
know.
came here. I was like, wow, this looks like a paradise.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
And it's only May. And I was like, this is great. There's no snow.
Well, and it's better for your health and your joints, even though like it's annoying when you get too hot when it's over 100. But it's better for your body.
It's wonderful. I
mean,
love.
Yeah,
living.
my dad is a physician would always say this is so much better for everything in your body. It's meant to be warm.
My opinion, being in the heat is better than being in the cold.
Yes, I agree
It's
with
easier
that.
to cool off than it is to heat up.
Absolutely.
So burn to death or freeze to death?
I think
Live.
burning to death because that would be faster.
Yeah.
And typically you don't die from burning, you die from smoke inhalation.
Faster way.
Freezing to death, you're sitting there for a while.
So you met your husband,
Mhm.
you guys lived together, and then was he on board as well to
Yeah.
move to ASU in
Mhm.
Arizona?
That's
And what was his major?
Graphic information technology.
Oh. What does that entail?
Programming, computer. He basically works on websites.
Hmm.
On
Oh, he does?
The back end of websites. He works for APS.
very nice.
Oh, okay, wow. This is just such an amazing love story. So, okay, so you have parents,
Mm-hmm.
and they're alive, and where do they live?
They live in Akureyri still.
Okay, so that's where you're going to visit.
Yes.
Okay. And are your grandparents still alive?
No, unfortunately, I lost all of them.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So we should probably just leave that all in. That's what it was.
Yeah.
When somehow that's what
I
it
think
was.
we were talking
Yeah.
because I went to Iceland for my grandfather's funeral.
That's what it was.
He made it to 93.
Wow.
That's what it was. And I was
That's
listening to
amazing.
that, and it was Mother's Day, and it was like the third meal on Mother's Day, so I was a little buzzed. So I was like, okay.
Because you gotta have like 2 bottles of wine with each meal. It's Mother's Day. Yeah, you gotta
About
celebrate.
6 bottles in that night.
So we can leave that all in. It's perfect. Yeah, leave it in. So you go to see your mom and dad
Mhm.
in Iceland, and you see his in Sweden every year, twice a year. How many times a year?
We go about every 2 years. So my mother-in-law is in Iceland. My father-in-law is in Sweden. And he usually comes to Iceland because it's easier for him to come alone than for the 4 of us to go to Sweden.
That makes sense.
But
Okay.
we've gone to visit him in Sweden. But and this is actually the first time that me, my husband, my children, my sister, my brother-in-law, and my brother and sister-in-law are gonna be together since they literally came into the family. We've lived in
Really?
3 continents.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Most of
amazing.
the life that my sister and brother have been with their spouses, they've lived in different continents.
Like where?
Wow.
Oh, that's so sad.
My sister was in Qatar. My brother is
Ah.
in Norway, and I'm
Ah.
here. And
Wow.
so there was always one person at least missing.
Oh.
So we're all going to celebrate my dad's 75th birthday this summer.
Oh, that's so
reunion.
nice.
Yep.
How long are you guys staying there for?
I'm gonna go for 7 weeks
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
with my younger
Oh,
son.
nice. And all your kids are going.
Yes,
How many
Okay.
children do you have?
Good
2.
question.
2? Nice.
Ages?
Very nice.
I have a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old.
13 and 17. And they are studying. Are they going to follow in your footsteps?
Nah, I doubt it. My 17-year-old wants to be a welder.
Okay.
Oh,
And
That's a
okay.
great
my
job.
13-year-old should be a lawyer. He can argue anything.
Really? Wow.
And but I don't know if he will. But I tell him that.
Well,
He's still
it's,
young. He's got some years.
Yeah.
Tell him
Guess
to
what
do
you're
like business law, because then he can he can start a business,
Mhm.
and then he can help himself with the law.
There you go.
Yeah, business law.
Very cool.
Start your own business.
So elaborate on like what you do at ASU and your like job. Just
So I'm
how
the
you
dir-
contribute. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm the director of special events for the engineering dean.
Okay.
Me and my team is in charge of all the graduation ceremonies
Mm.
for
Oh, right.
the engineering school. So a couple of weeks ago, I did 2 ceremonies that I run, but I worked 6 ceremonies. And so we had a PhD heading ceremony, and we had a convocation ceremony for 2,948 graduates that attended.
Wow.
And you're in charge of that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's
amazing.
incredible.
So this is your Super Bowl time right here. You just got done.
Yes, I am.
Oh yeah.
That was my biggest ceremony ever. We're going to have
Really?
to split to 2 ceremonies in spring of 24 because of the number of students we
Yeah.
have.
Wow.
So what type of other events do you do besides like graduations?
Homecoming,
Okay.
Oh wow,
faculty,
that's a big
Okay.
deal.
yeah,
Oh, when?
Yeah, it's very nice.
yeah,
So,
faculty appreciation.
so that's for the
staff
football
appreciation.
game, or
We have a suite in the football game as well. Yeah,
nice?
and homecoming is like we.
Did you
have
take
a
it
block party.
volunteers?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I volunteer.
Yeah, seriously, that'd be fun because you could,
Yeah.
Is it co-ed?
Oh yeah,
Come
I mean it's like
Well, for the volunteers, I don't know.
anybody.
Yeah.
We'll
A
take anybody.
volunteer, I mean,
A
it's
volunteer
free work.
Free work.
Anyone would accept free work for anyone. Come on now.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's slave labor. Voluntary slave labor.
Wait, so my understanding of homecoming is a little bit weird because in high school it's usually a dance. So how
Mhm.
does it differentiate in college from high school?
Yeah, like what
So-
type
Good
of things
question.
do you do for homecoming?
There's a homecoming week, and it has
Okay.
several events for the students.
Mhm.
Fridays we have the lantern walk up to a mountain,
Oh,
usually.
wow.
Nice.
And then on Saturday of that week we have it starts with the parade.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow.
Wow.
engineering has a lot of vehicles that
Yeah.
our students have built that are in the parade,
Mhm.
and then
They
they're-
build them?
yeah, and then they're showcased afterwards.
That's very nice.
Did you even know that?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know
I
that
didn't know
part,
that
but
part.
I know
That's
that
good.
the engineering
That's
department
cool.
builds a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
vehicles, and they have like programs to.
And
There's like a
robots.
racing program
Yep.
and all that. Yeah. It's
And
very
we-
cool.
Really?
So at
Interesting.
homecoming, we have our student orgs showcase what they're doing. We have robots, we have all kinds of fun stuff,
It's very cool.
That's amazing.
and it's free to anybody. And it's going to be on October 28th this year.
We're going.
Wow.
We're all gonna go.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
going.
we're
I can't go, but I will go.
Where are you
next
gonna
time.
be?
in spirit.
I know. I
John will
have.
be in spirit.
I have actually have a convention for physical therapy stuff.
Okay, cancel
so.
it. I'm just kidding.
I'll try my best.
Cancel. Next.
Take videos for me.
Oh yeah.
Well, it sounds like your job is really fun. It sounds like when you get home, you clock out.
Mm,
Oh, you don't.
Right now she is.
now, yes, now I am. The weeks before graduation ceremonies, there's so many students that email us and want information, and they're getting nervous about what's going on, and did I actually do what I need to do, and what else is needed, and I forgot to RSVP or whatever it is. And if I don't respond to them in a timely manner, they're going to send me another email.
Yeah.
3 hours later or 6 hours later or whatever, or the next day.
Because they're students.
And
that's what
so
we do.
that's why I have to
Yeah.
keep, it saves me time
Yeah.
to just keep up with and respond.
So you have a couple weeks where you're just grinding out emails.
Yeah. That's that Super Bowl week.
Super Bowl week.
That's Super Bowl week. She's no sleep. Now she gets to relax. We're done.
Oh yeah. Send it to you.
And so, does your husband help you at all with this?
The communication, other than taking care of the kids and cooking and sometimes running me a bath when my muscles are too tired.
So this is why the relationship lasts.
He takes care of her when she's grinding hard.
He's
Yeah.
watching the kids, he's cooking and he's giving you a bath.
Absolutely.
So this is why the love happens.
So I have a question. So, coming from Iceland and moving here, what are the biggest cultural differences that you notice
That's good.
that really stand out to you?
I thought it was really strange, first to see the police with guns,
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
and because I had never seen that before.
Okay.
And so it was also, I found it, some of the friends that I had in college, I felt some of them were there, like they felt they were there for their parents, not for themselves.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So I have to do this because my mom wants me to do this, and my dad said I have to graduate, kind of thing. And I thought that was like, why are you spending all this money if you really don't want to be here?
Yeah.
And I was there. I paid for my own education. I was there for me.
I mean, people that you knew didn't care about the education.
They felt like they were doing it for somebody else.
Wow.
They felt forced by their parents that
Yeah.
they needed to
Well,
go through the
I
gym.
definitely
But
see
that's
that.
because,
Yeah.
hold on.
It's still a problem today, yeah.
But that's because the emphasis in Europe and countries like Iceland and Sweden, one of the most important things there is education.
Yeah.
And emphasizing how important it is for your brain to be working and for you to use this to make your money.
We have a
You know.
99.9% literacy.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes. And people are, what's the word where you're attracted to somebody because they're smart?
I mean,
There's a word.
Attracted to someone because they're smart.
There. Okay. You're intern. Can you look that up?
Yeah.
There's a word, like you're attracted to somebody because they're smart. There's a word. Do you know what that is? You should know that.
is that something that they see in Iceland more often than
Yes.
in
Thank
like
you.
America?
Yes.
I don't know.
I feel like that's hard to pinpoint like a yes, they definitely do, or no. It's much more subjective. So it's unless you can see into someone's mind, you don't really know.
Well, it kind of is because like my parents,
Mhm.
both being from Europe, they'd say, "Well, what's his education?" You know,
so yeah,
they,
so
like,
different emphasis
okay,
on things. Yeah,
you know,
different cultural.
I'm glad Chet's not here
emphasis.
because they wanted to know what was the background of their education of anybody I dated, and they didn't care. Can you read it out loud? Go ahead.
Sapiosexuality.
Okay, read that.
Yeah.
Okay. Definition is
Sapiosexual.
Yeah, sapiosexuality means that a person is sexually attracted to a highly intelligent person.
yes.
Very nice.
So, and so
In Iceland, we yes, we talk about education, and yes, we ask, but we say "Hverra manna ertu?" or who's your family, and I think some of it may be snob. You want to know where they're coming from,
Yeah.
but it's also there's so few people you want to make sure you're not related.
Really?
oh, like cousins or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's only 350,000 people,
Yeah,
so
it's small.
over generations and generations, I feel like there is probably actually quite a bit that you don't even know.
But if it's way distant,
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
fine.
really.
And we have a genealogy where literally everybody
now.
in Iceland is, and you can actually look up
Really?
how distantly you're related to somebody.
Really,
cool.
it's so
Wow.
interesting.
That's actually really cool.
Because
That's unique.
Because otherwise, the countries where people aren't that, intelligent,
Also,
it's because there's been some cousins happening.
Well, also I feel like Iceland is difficult. The reason that everybody is so closely related is because you're on an island.
Yeah.
And before there was the Industrial Revolution, it's hard to get to and from an island. So you pretty much stay on that island if you were born there. And
Yes.
you can't really expand out or.
Well, like, what is a
Okay.
flight to fly there? I mean, you're flying there. Saying what does it cost to fly there?
1,300.
Wow.
Wow, and that's probably a reasonable ticket?
No,
because
actually, it's the most I've ever paid.
really. So why is it? Why?
I think it's the cost of gas or cost of the.
Yeah.
Economy.
Yeah.
How much
right
is
now,
the gallon of gas there?
It's
No, I
It's
think
just
in
the cost of travel.
in
Right,
the
right,
US,
right.
Inflation.
worldwide, yeah.
liter of gas is probably the same as a gallon here. The
Because I
cost-
thought I read that in Barbados a gallon of gas is $20.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
yes.
It's not that.
Well, actually, a
Well,
liter of
maybe it
gas,
is.
yeah, it is.
That
Because
is?
it's almost $5 a gallon here. And a liter is about a quarter of a gallon.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait, can you look that up?
Just under
What is a gallon of
3.74.
gas in
3.74.
Iceland?
But also, you're not using cars like you are in America.
And
our
we have
culture,
smaller cars.
our culture is big cars,
Yeah.
and everybody drives a car. And that's why the HOV lane is empty during rush hour versus the rest of the lanes, because everybody else is driving a single person per car. Whereas Europeans, especially, they are much more this is part of the sustainability, but public transportation and public infrastructure for that public transportation, so that if you want to go 10 miles down the road, you don't have to do a car. You can walk out your house and there's probably a bus stop right there, or
And
a train station that will get you across the country. Things like that, rather than get in your car and drive.
Well, I remember we went to Europe every summer. I was very lucky and blessed to do that and privileged, but we would walk everywhere.
Mhm.
Everyone walks everywhere. I mean, it's
And-
just how it is.
And I haven't driven a car in Iceland. You know, I barely ever drive a car in Iceland.
Right.
Because you can walk, you can take the bus. The bus is free in my hometown, not in Reykjavik. And
How do you pronounce that, the capital?
Reykjavik.
Because I was trying to, Reykjavik.
Hey, actually, that was pretty good.
Reykjavik.
That was pretty good. That sounded really similar to what you said.
Let's hear everybody say it.
I just did. It was bad.
Reykjavik.
I don't even want to try that. Yeah.
No, just try it. Come on, don't be shy.
What is it again?
Reykjavik.
Lion.
What is it?
Reykjavik.
Reykjavik.
Oh, there you go. He got it.
I'm good now.
There you go.
Yeah, that's very nice.
So that is the capital.
Mhm.
Is that, would you say, if someone's traveling to Iceland, that would be the place to, book your flight there and stay there? Or where do you suggest?
I would travel.
Okay.
Once
I
you're
mean,
there,
unless
go.
you
Yes.
just love being in a city. I mean, I would go to Iceland for nature.
Exactly. Yeah.
it's,
Okay.
it's like going to Alaska. You're not just going to go to Anchorage and sit
Okay.
there. You're
Yeah.
going to go see
Mm.
all the water, like the wildlife,
I mean, we
the
have
national parks.
over 10,000 waterfalls. We have
10,000 waterfalls.
They have hot springs you can just
10,000
walk
waterfalls.
into. It's freezing cold outside. You step in there and you can be
Exactly.
in a bathing suit and warm. Like
Exactly.
that geothermal heat.
Yep.
Amazing, yeah.
Okay, what else?
And
We better only let this show go to only a few friends, because I don't want everyone to go there because I want to go there.
we have Glacier Lake. It's been in several movies in the
Mhm.
past.
Really?
Game of Thorns was actually taped in Iceland.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Game of
Cool.
Thorns? Really?
Thrones.
Oh, Game of
Thank you,
Thrones.
thank you.
Wait.
I thought that's what you said. It's just the
Yep.
accent. Yeah. Game of Thrones can get.
Come on now.
Is that
We
a
have
movie or a
geysers.
show? I don't know that one.
It's a TV show.
It's a TV show.
I've heard of it, actually. Yeah. It's jogging my memory. Okay, so you have glaciers
And geysers.
and geysers. Okay.
And a lot of waterfalls. And there's just so much to see. I mean, the nature is gorgeous.
Mm.
And if you like hiking or
Mm.
it's absolutely
Are there a lot of
paradise.
flowers and?
Mhm.
Mm.
Lupines. Do you know what the lupine is?
Mm-mm.
Purple.
No.
It's everywhere, but it's beautiful.
So it's ubiquitous.
Purple's my favorite color. So yeah, that's that.
Love that. How's the wildlife? What kind of?
We don't have a lot of wildlife.
Really?
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's like
We
Rocky,
have-
right?
We have reindeers
Mm-hmm.
Oh
and
wow.
foxes
Wow.
Reindeer.
Very
and
cool.
birds.
That's
Really?
about it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
about it.
And then you have your domesticated sheep.
So do you
We
eat
have sheep.
reindeer?
Lots
We
of sheep.
have a lot of sheep.
Lots of sheep.
And
So you eat sheep and you eat reindeer.
mm-hmm. And
Does
I
that
mean,
mean-
we have cows and pigs and a lot of obviously fish.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
They're not
Right.
Yeah.
So what fish is around there?
Cod, haddock, salmon, trout.
And it's probably the cleanest fish you can
Oh,
get.
it's
It's
cool.
amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
We go. My dad has a boat, and we go out fishing and having for lunch.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Oh my
Right,
goodness.
right
okay.
from the boat. That's awesome.
So as a
goodness.
first time going to Iceland, what would you say is the best starting point to do?
Yes.
So, what is your interest?
Let's say you like to hike and you're just a nature person.
Oh.
What would you say is like the best first impression of Iceland to go to?
There is if you don't have a lot of time, there is an amazing outdoor wilderness area, literally 20 minutes out of Reykjavik.
Really? Wow.
Reykjavik.
And we actually we had planned a barbecue there last time I was in Iceland for my husband's birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and then it rained, and we moved into my sister-in-law's house. But it's
Little change of plans, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But there's a lot of things you can see. You can I mean you can hike into a dormant volcano.
Really?
You
Wow.
can
Mm.
hike on top of mountains. You can walk on the glacier.
Mm-hmm.
You,
So anywhere you go after these hikes, you can jump in this lake that's warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
If-
totally
if,
warm.
if there's hot springs.
there's hot springs
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
There's like every town has either a swimming pool, that's really hot, or a spa. And it's the new thing. Everybody's building a spa these days, and there's a lot of amazing spas.
And the spas have that warm hot springs.
Yes.
That's natural water that's better for you.
Yes.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
And so
That's amazing because
it
I like
has
to get in the water.
minerals in
Mhm.
it.
Okay.
So sometimes you may think it smells funky.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah,
I've-
yeah.
I've
Hot
heard
springs
that.
have
Yeah,
it.
so it's almost
Yeah,
like,
hot
like
springs
the
have a-
sulfur type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's similar to like digging a really deep well up where I'm from in New York. Like you get a deep well and you'll have that sulfur smell. It's just part of the.
But that's healthier
Part of
for
your-
your body. Because I know, like, is it kind of like the hot springs in Budapest, Hungary, and
I haven't been there, but
because they have them there that's very prevalent there.
Yeah.
They have copious amounts and plethora of these hot springs.
Hot springs are very good for your body.
Very good.
this is one.
Oh wow, wow. Oh my. Oh wow. Okay, so she's showing us nude pictures of she and her husband in hot springs.
you can go back and forth on that.
Just kidding. Hope they don't take that blurb out.
Waterfalls and hot springs.
Nice.
I love it.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
The scenery.
So when you were 18
Mhm.
and you met your husband at this festival,
Yep.
did you guys run to a hot spring?
Not at that time, no.
What did you do like the next day?
We had dinner. We had a first date the next day.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take for you guys to go to a hot spring?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Wow.
I feel like because the hot springs are everywhere, it's not like
It's like you're always there.
It's not like it'd be like, when did you go swimming in a swimming pool? When
Yeah.
you're actually there the first time. It's like the hot springs are there; they see them all the time. It's
Yes.
like normal and natural.
Yeah.
It's like
Good point.
So that's just something that
It's not.
goes through,
It's
yeah.
like something you do every day. It's not a big
So-
deal. It's like taking a shower.
Yeah.
My girlfriend from college, Stephanie, came with us in 2006 when we were bringing my older son for the first time to Iceland, and so we took her to Grjótagjá, which is literally a cave
Wow.
that you can bathe in, and there's geothermal water in it.
Mm.
And sometimes you have to just double check that the water is not too hot.
Mhm.
So
Interesting.
she thought it was the most amazing thing.
Mm.
It was just out in nature. We drove there and parked the car,
Mm-hmm.
and when we got there, it was New Year's Day,
Mm-hmm.
and the lights of the car lit up the opening to the cave, and there was a completely naked woman standing with her hands out.
Really?
And then she went and made snow angels in the snow, and then went back in there.
That sounds like my
So is
kind
that,
of thing.
that's
That's
not illegal
funny.
there to just be nude?
If you feel like it.
So there's no laws against it. That's
No.
very cool, man.
Oh, so in
And
Iceland.
then we went and joined her and her partner that was there too. They left soon after we got there, but we were wearing
Yeah.
bathing suits.
Yeah.
Clothing
So all the hot springs are it's optional. Clothes are optional, or swimsuits are optional.
If you are in a public pool, you
Mhm.
have to wear something.
Mhm.
Okay.
You
But
can
these-
be topless if you want to, but you have to wear something. And topless used to be very common in Iceland before social media and before everybody had phones.
Oh,
It's
'cause
not as
everyone's taking
common today
pictures.
because you don't want your picture all over
Yeah.
the place.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Mhm.
That's very
Owen's on his way.
cool. Next trip is being planned right now. Yeah.
Well, I like to swim, and I love the water, and the healing, the geothermal waters.
Mhm.
I know are so healing.
Mm-hmm.
Because my dad was a cardiologist and lived to be 95, and my grandma 105, and they were very big about the hot springs.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very blessed to grow up
Mhm.
always going to the hot springs. Palm Springs have the hot springs. My dad would make a big deal to take us to Palm Springs, and we would go to Budapest, and he'd find the hot springs, and that's where we would go.
Speaking of hot springs,
It's true.
but you never went to Iceland. Come on now.
I know. That's
The
why I
land
want to
of
go there.
hot springs. Come on.
I'm surprised. Well, he probably didn't want to take
It's
you
cold.
know, 5 kids,
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
wife, and my grandma would travel with us too. So you know, how many tickets are you buying there? You know.
And Iceland didn't used to be this popular.
Yeah.
I mean, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the data right now, but 2010 we had maybe 600,000 visitors.
What?
2019 we had 2 million.
What?
Because people want to be in nature because all nature is disappearing.
So it was like
wow.
somebody turned a switch, and suddenly Iceland was the place to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Iceland in 19, and it was so annoying. I couldn't get into a restaurant because all the tourists had all the reservations.
Mm.
So my favorite restaurants were booked, and you couldn't go anywhere without hearing foreign languages, and
Yeah.
it was almost too much.
So you're like, don't come to Iceland.
No, please come, but spread
Only
it
us,
out through
only
the
us.
year.
Yeah. So how are because you live there part-time
Mm-hmm.
kind of, so how are the locals taking this? Are they
Yes.
annoyed, or are they like, okay, we can accept some new people and let them see what we have to offer? Yeah.
I mean, we love the income of it, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah.
Businesses love it.
Airbnb became huge.
Mm-hmm.
However, due to Airbnb, the locals were having a harder time finding rentals
Mm.
because everybody got so much more money out of Airbnbs than it did renting out, the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an issue.
What about Lyft and Uber? Do you have that there?
No.
We were just talking like everyone walks public transportation.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
So-
don't need to.
You don't really need that much as much, but yeah,
No.
the Airbnbs, when you go there, there's not that many houses.
But
you put
if
your
you,
house up for rent, you make money.
if you call a taxi, it's going to be there in 2 to 3 minutes. It's not going to take 20 minutes to get. There's a lot of taxis, and
Mm-hmm.
it's no big deal getting a taxi.
Okay.
It's like New York City taxis.
So is the size of it equivalent of like Arizona or?
No,
What
it
would you
is
say?
actually it is 40,000 square miles, size of Kentucky,
Wow.
Gosh, it's little.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
and everybody lives by the coast
Mm-hmm.
because we have tundra deserts and mountains and glaciers
Mm-hmm.
in the center, and it's not livable. I mean, I wouldn't want to live in the center.
Can you find me an Icelandic man?
You know,
There's a
rough
finder's fee.
rough in the wilderness.
There's a huge. I'll give you a Porsche if we.
Big finder's fee. So based on that, is it kind of cramped in a way?
No.
Like, is everybody not everybody squished together?
No,
So it's-
I mean, in Reykjavik is big.
Reykjavik.
It has probably, I think, half or 1/3 of the country lives in that Reykjavik, Kópavogur,
Mhm.
Hafnarfjörður, like it's kind of like Tempe, Chandler,
Yeah.
like
The big
together.
The greater metropolitan area.
Yep.
Of,
Mhm.
And then there's the second or third largest city has 20,000 people,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and then it goes down from there.
Yeah. So it's spread out a good
Yes.
amount. Yeah. Very
So
nice.
what's kind of like a little sleepy town that's like a must see?
Húsavík.
she knew that one.
Oh.
That's definitely where you want to go.
Okay,
Who's
tell
a
us
big-
why.
Who's big?
Write it down.
Write it down.
Yeah, that's
the
right
spot.
down, Owen.
She didn't have to think
Text it
about
to
that
me.
one. That was
How do you
boom.
spell it? How do you spell it?
Husavik.
We're going there.
So,
Husavik.
have you seen Fire Saga with Will Ferrell?
Say
What
it
was it?
again.
Fire Saga. It's a
No.
movie.
Fire Saga.
Oh,
No,
yes.
The
have you
movie
Colin?
is taped in that town. And so just watch that movie and you're going to fall in love with that town.
Okay, text that to me too. Fire Saga.
It's on Netflix.
All
with
right.
with who?
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. I love Will
And
Ferrell.
it's about Eurovision, which is a huge musical competition in Europe every year. And it's making fun of it a little bit.
Okay.
But it's funny.
Is it a good movie?
It is a good movie.
Okay.
And she gets to see.
And you can
You know,
see
her
my
home country
uncle's
there.
house in that movie. And
Really?
you can see the
Cool.
church that I was baptized in that movie.
Really? So that's kind of your town.
It's where my grandparents lived.
There you go.
Very nice.
I
And so
love
my
it.
parents have a second home there, and that's where me and my son are going to be staying for a few weeks this summer.
Very nice.
That's so fun. So you're going with your husband too?
He's coming later.
Oh,
Me and my younger son are going for 7 weeks, and then my husband and older son are coming for 4.
Very nice.
So a long time. That's great.
That's the joy of working in the education system when you're your biggest, most busy part of the year is in May. You get to celebrate the summer.
And then you get to enjoy the whole summer. That's a nice break.
Yes.
And he's okay. This happy marriage is good, being apart for 7 weeks.
3 weeks.
Oh, just
Yeah.
3
So
weeks.
Yeah.
She's gonna
Okay.
be there for 7. He's coming for 4. So that 3 week.
Okay, it's just, but
Yeah.
you guys are okay.
Oh, yeah. And we did that 2 years ago as well.
So this is not, it's just, it only happens like once a year that you're apart like this.
Every 2 years.
Every
It's
2 years.
expensive.
Okay.
It's expensive.
Yeah, we said,
That's expensive.
yeah, the flight's what, 1,300?
Yeah, that is a lot.
I can work part of the time. My husband is not
Oh.
able to work, therefore he can't be.
So that's
There
why
for
he
it.
can't be there for the whole 7 weeks.
Exactly.
You can do remote, and he's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 5 minutes left, Colin
Okay.
just said, and so I like to, end with a big bang. Iceland, sustainability, you're amazing. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah. So, what would you say to America? What type of things can we take from what Iceland has done with their sustainability and apply it to America, a country 1,000 times larger? Is there anything that can be comparable that we can pull, like some ideals or some different things that we can do?
How can we improve?
Because it is such a big difference in population and just size in general that that I would think would be probably the biggest stepping stone for us to try and make, is to, like, yeah, it's hard to compare us because we're so big, but what would you say that we can use?
I think food waste. I think
Food waste.
High five. Oh my goodness. I love that you're saying this. Because I see so many people go, I want this, and that. And I'm like, it's too much food.
And I mean, look at the portions that we're getting at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I work at a restaurant.
Your mom's great
and
about
the
it because she
amount
does
of
take it home
food-
and she eats it. But a lot of people take it
the
home
amount
and
of
they
food
just
that we
store it in the
throw
fridge.
out and they
Yes.
don't want to bring home. I'm like,
Mhm.
this is a half of a fillet.
Mhm.
You're sitting there. This is a beautiful cut of meat. I will go eat this if you're not sick.
Yeah.
Not
Right. No, it's true.
like, literally, like the amount of food you just throw out, and then we're not really allowed to donate it. That's like against the law for a lot of things. It's really hard to actually be able to donate. So, I would definitely agree that would be something.
So we
big
forgot
time.
to say that John is a personal trainer, physical therapist. And how do people find you if they want to do personal training?
Oh, you can email me at Turose, TUROSEPT, as in personal training, at
And
gmail.com.
check out, I'm going to be getting very slim and trim very soon
Yes.
here. I'm working out a lot.
She's been working on me pretty consistently for
Yeah.
about 6 months now. We're seeing some results.
But we're stepping it up
Yes, we are.
because the beach time is ready. So
So
That's a great-
how would we go about doing food, like decreasing food waste? Would you just say like decrease proportions or?
Portion at restaurants. Think about, plan your meals.
mhm.
Not just buy whatever you see in the grocery store.
I
I
love that.
started using the click list during COVID, meaning I would just order online and I would pick it up and they would just dump it in my car. And I saw my bill go down because I'm only buying what I need.
You're not seeing all those little things at
Just
the end of the
splurge
aisle.
shopping, yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
smart because then when you buy what you don't need, it sits in the fridge and then you're like a week later, you're like, I toss that,
Yeah.
toss
So
that.
actually,
So wasteful.
that's very much similar to how I tell my clients that are trying to lose weight. Is I say, prepare your meals. Know
Exactly.
exactly what you're going to eat each day. Don't say I'm going to get a whole bunch of stuff and then we'll find something to eat. Plan it out, because if you have a plan, you're much more likely to follow that plan than if you just say, okay, I'm going to eat some food here. Let's figure it out later and just go buy. So
Well, I love it because like if you're at a restaurant, like let's say after this we all go, like we are gonna have some dinner, and you just order as you go and share and then see
or
and keep ordering.
don't throw away if you have leftover.
Yeah.
What you can always do is you
Yes.
can always ask for a to-go
Yes.
box before. Like say, hey, with my meal, could you get me a to-go box? And then put half your meal in that
And you
to-go
won't
box.
waste, and you won't waste, and you won't waste, and I won't waste. But some people go
Yeah.
home.
And if you don't
and
like
they-
leftovers,
Mhm.
find somebody in your household that does. Because my sister
Mhm.
doesn't like leftovers, but every single time she goes out to eat, she's bringing those leftovers home because I'm going to eat them. And I always do. So,
There you go.
Or just something that you
Yeah.
know you're gonna eat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So that's one point. What's another one? How
Now
can we
you're putting me
improve
on
it
the
here in
spot.
America? That's important.
yeah.
How about the
Um,
plastic issue?
Oh,
What about the single-use plastic? What do you think? Like
I-
these
Yeah.
glasses we're drinking
Yeah.
out of, these are going home. We are going to wash them and we're bringing them back.
there you go. I love
So,
that.
yes.
I always, I mean, I have glass, reusable glass containers for everything in my house that just goes in the dishwasher. The plastic drives me crazy. It's like such a waste, and not to mention it's so bad for the environment. And I don't know how, but we need to get rid of those plastic rings that are around sodas and water and
They've
that
actually
stuff.
Because they're so bad for the wildlife.
Especially some of the smaller like microbreweries especially are starting to use a dense cardboard that's biodegradable. And
There
I've
you
noticed
go.
that
Are
a
they?
lot. Yeah, my sister buys a lot of like the craft beers,
That's
and I notice
awesome.
whenever you're trying to pull them out, I'm like, what is this? And then it just like breaks, and I'm like, oh, that's cardboard.
That's
so I feel
awesome.
like so there are some places I know that the big huge companies are not doing it yet, and that's what we need is the corporations to jump on board. So
Exactly.
So that's
That's the hardest
another
part.
great point. Okay, what's another one? Like what? I mean,
here's for our next time we have her on. We need to
how many minutes do we have?
what can we do in order to
Probably like 2 minutes.
Okay.
help convince the rest of America to like the big corporations to jump in on these little things that these smaller companies are doing to be sustainable, and how can we promote that? Because I feel like in Iceland it's just part of life, and
It is.
the only way that we
More,
can
yeah.
become more like that is if we make sustainability part of
Awareness.
our life,
Awareness.
and just
Yeah.
understanding that hey, you might not think it's making a difference, but every little bit makes a difference.
Absolutely, and I think we should have a sustainability classes in schools.
Absolutely. Everybody
And
needs to know.
I'm talking from kindergarten on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
so let's start
Absolutely.
implementing that.
Teach kids how to plant fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Because
That's
it's
something.
gardening, it's repurposing,
Yeah.
it's not wasting, it's not wasting the food.
Mhm.
It's everything you did as a kid,
Yeah.
right?
And
Small
never,
things.
Composting.
never even realized it was sustainability.
Yeah, it was just way of life, and because it's a way of life, you continue to do that way of life. And
Well, it's-
you
it's
almost
saving the
bump
planet.
Against when you see
It's saving the
us
planet.
Americans
saving
just
the
throwing
planet.
everything away.
One show at a time. How do people find you?
My email is kristino@cops.net.
Mm-hmm.
Kristino.
It's such a beautiful love affair, you and your husband, and everything you do is just, to me, just loving the planet, loving Earth, and loving love. So, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, and do you have a quick question? Or do you
No,
want
I
to
just
end on a good
respect
note?
everything you're doing at ASU, and
Thank you.
Be in touch. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Saving the planet.
One
show at a time.
Oh yeah.